Ever since I got into the data analysis space, I've always heard about self-service, which is, business owners being able to run their own analytics. But I've never been able to see anywhere where that's worked fully. Hi, my name's Shorful, and in this channel, we talk about all things data. So if you're a budding analyst or a seasoned pro or someone who shares an interest in data, please do subscribe to my channel so you don't miss on any helpful tips or advice that I have to offer. Now, self-service analytics is like a nirvana. What it assumes is that once you've got all your data modeled really well, it's all clean, the quality is very good, you build some dashboards or you put a dashboarding or reporting tool on top of that, something like Power BI or Tableau or Business Objects, or even Looker Studio, and then the business can run its own reports. Now, that does sound like a very practical idea, and it would save analysts a lot of time of running very simple numbers which the business themselves could run by themselves. However, there is a massive challenge with self-service analytics, and that is that the business doesn't always have the skills or even motivation or even the time to run their own analysis. And that's one of the reasons why wherever I've been, there's always been teams who run reports for the business. If you want to know what are sort of some of the major hurdles to self-service analytics, the first is actually understanding what they're running. Now, a lot of people are very good at interpreting numbers. They're very good when it's presented to them. But if you ask them to run that number, they sometimes are hesitant or sometimes unsure of what they've run. Whereas as an analyst, you know what you're running, you know what code is running, you know when you build a report what exactly what metrics you're exactly using and how you're calculating those metrics, and so therefore you're very sure about what you're doing. I'll give you a very simple example. If you wanted to know the unique number of customers who come to your shop in a given month, okay, as a data analyst, you know that you need to run a deduplication count, so a unique count, so that you get the unique number of customers who come to your store in a certain month. However, as a business user, you will end up with two metrics. One is count of customers and unique count of customers. Now, you may not know which one to run because they don't make sense to you. All you know is that I just want to know how many customers came to my shop, okay? And so therefore what happens is that uncertainty means that they don't know if they're running the right number, and therefore they have to go back to analysts to help them understand what numbers they're writing. So that uncertainty around what the metrics actually means can actually hinder a lot around self-service analytics. Obviously, there'll be elements of self-service analytics which the business can run, where things like I want to know how many clicks there were. There are clicks. I mean, obviously for emails there may be unique clicks, but certain things that they can do, visits for example, how many visits, how many page views, how many people bought an item, the number of transactions, those kind of stuff you could put in a report that meant that the business could run those numbers themselves, and the data model behind it gives them exactly what they want. But it's just those occasional times where they're not sure what they're running that they need analysts. So therefore you can't really have full self-service, just partial, because they still need data analysts on the other side. The other thing related is data literacy. Now, if the business doesn't really understand the language of data, how to interpret it, how to know what it means when they are running it, to know even how to set parameters around some of the metrics that you run. So for example, if you are running something around the lines of what's the gross revenue for a business, okay, you need to know how gross revenue is represented in the data, because it won't necessarily say gross revenue, it might be transactional value or sales value or sales. So the data literacy is an element that people, I wouldn't say don't want to invest in the time in doing that, but it's just that they don't have the time. If you're a marketer, if you're a finance person, if you're a product person, if you're busy doing your job, you don't want to be learning about the metrics that sit underneath or sit in the tables that the reporting tool connects to. So they just prefer to ask an analyst a business question and let the analyst worry about the actual technicalities of the data and how to run that query. So all they really want is an answer. The third thing that stops the business running their own analysis is time. Okay. Now, sometimes reports are very easy to run, they're very simple, so if they're repetitive, for example, if you run them every day, then that's fine. But sometimes you need something that you've not run before, and by the time you've worked out how to do it, it'll be easier for the data analyst to actually do that analysis for you. So what happens is that the business just thinks, well, I'd rather have a data analyst do it in 2 minutes or 10 minutes or even a day, rather than me spending hours, weeks, whatever, trying to create that same calculation. And then finally, these tools And one thing I have noticed is that as a data analyst, I found them quite intuitive. I thought they're really easy to use. Therefore, I assumed the business would know what to do with them. But actually, some business users don't actually know intuitively how to use the tool. So they actually need training on the tool. And then, as you can imagine, the tools get releases and they get updated, which means that they have to continually be learning about how to do things in the tool. And that I found actually scares people, because I mean, first of all, you get the businesses, some people in the business are already scared about data or hesitant to use data because they don't know what they're doing with it. And but secondly, when you have those people being asked to use a tool that they're not familiar with, no matter how intuitive it is to data analysts and maybe more technical people, but for people who aren't technical in their role, they do find these tools hard to use. So that's one of the reasons why people don't really go into self-service analytics. Now, saying all that, like I said, in my experience, I have never seen a business go full self-service analytics. They've always needed analysts to complement that component of their business. But some businesses actually prefer just to have a team of analysts rather than get the business users to spend their time running reports and analysis themselves. Now, neither is wrong. You know, if you have aspirations to go to self-service analytics, that's great. But if you don't, that's also fine. But you have to understand that no matter what option you take, you will always need analysts, especially if you want to do things that answer the more difficult and more nuanced elements of the business. Well, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and share the video, and of course, please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.